Donald Trump victory in the U.S. elections, Kamala Harris vows a peaceful transfer of power. First of all, I have to say I'm sorry about my voice because I have a cold. It's getting better though. Now, we're looking at the live result map. As it stands now, Trump has 295 electoral votes. Harris has 226. But we still have some undecided states. We have undecided battleground states in Nevada and Arizona. And there is no other undecided states. It's basically we're waiting for Nevada and Arizona to come in. So the U.S. election, or also the stocks have gone up because of the fact that Trump is victor. Donald Trump has been elected United States president for a second term, nearly 4 years after leaving office, with projections showing the Republican comfortably clearing, as we said before, 290 some odd votes. That may increase. And threshold requiring to win the White House. His Democratic rival, Vice President Kamala Harris, has called him to congratulate him, says in a speech, will help him to the transition and engage in a peaceful transfer of power. Now we know that the black vote also helped President Trump. The Republican candidate almost doubled his support among black voters compared to 2020. The exit polls suggest. How and where is broken down here. Kamala Harris was confirmed as a Democratic candidate for the U.S. presidential election in August. She hoped to become the first woman, first Indian American, and the second African American to make it to the White House. She was expected to reverse a troubling trend for Democrats and win back black voters who had been drifting away from the party. Since then, her campaign targeted black voters in the battleground states, often with the support of the country's first black president, Barack Obama. Yet, as results in Tuesday's election trickled in, a stunning fact emerged. It was Trump, not Harris, who gained support among black voters compared with the 2020 election, as the former president won the White House. So how much support did Trump secure from black voters, and how did he do it? Black voters had for decades predominantly voted for the Democratic Party, and that pattern, on the whole, has not changed. Harris appears to have won 80% of the black vote, according to an exit poll by AP, but that's a drop of 10 percentage points compared to 2020, when the current president, Joe Biden, won 9 of the 10 black votes. The beneficiary was Trump, who won 20% of the black vote this time, according to the exit poll. He had won a 13% of the community's vote in 2020 and 8% in 2016, which is itself the biggest level of support by black voters for any Republican since George W. Bush in 2000. And how did Trump perform with black voters in swing states? A comparison of black votes for both parties in some of the swing states in 2024 and 2020 shows how Trump support crept up in this year's election, according to the exit polls after both elections. Georgia was one of the most crucial swing states in the 2024 election, one of the first battleground states that went Trump's way. He made a 1% point improvement among black voters in Georgia from 2020 election against Biden, according to the polls. Michigan, Harris and Democrats lost 2 percentage points of the black vote in the state after growing anti-democratic sentiment in the wake of Israel's war in Gaza. Meanwhile, Trump made a 2% gain point. North Carolina saw one of the biggest shifts from Democrats to Republicans among black voters with a 5% point change from the previous election. Pennsylvania's victory was all but sealed when Pennsylvania was called for the Republican candidate, and here too the numbers went up for the second time president. Wisconsin, voters in the state of Wisconsin had poverty, low wages, and health care among their chief concerns, and black voters in this state made a dramatic 13% point shift towards Trump. Nevada, the state reeling from the highest unemployment rate in the country, has the only swing state where Harris has made gains among black voters compared to 2020. Was a black vote shift towards Donald Trump expected? Not really. A Gallup poll in 2023 showed the proportion of black adults in the US who consider themselves Democrats had decreased from 77% in 2020 to 66%. Why? Today's black voters operate a bit more independently from previous generations, especially young black voters, analysts say. Historically, the Democratic Party's legacy with the civil rights movement is what kept it popular with black voters. However, younger black voters do not have those same civil rights legacy attachments. Did the Democratic Party see this coming? As pre-election sentiments from black voters shifted away from Harris, the vice president went all out in her bid to woo black voters and relied heavily on Obama's support. Obama and his wife Michelle Obama were among the first to declare their support for Harris when Biden exited the presidential race, and Harris began her journey as a likely Democratic nominee before the party's national convention in August. And we'll see, well, I'll keep an eye out to see what's happening with the undecided states, the swing states. It could be that Trump will go over 295 electoral votes. Harris, as we said, is at 226, and she has conceded to Trump. So hopefully we'll have peace in the Middle East, peace in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia, peace in the Asian area, and a lot of good things coming. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.